Hey there, I'm meteorologist Valerie Smock here in the Weather Center, and I wanted to give you an update on what's happening here this weekend. We have a lot going on this weekend. We're talking about frigid cold air, which we've been standing out in all morning. Plus, we have the big winter storm that we've been dealing with over the past couple of days that we've been trying to forecast for you. And now we have some snow totals for you. So I want to kind of unpack all of that for you just to give you a better idea as to what we are dealing with. So I want to punch up our cameras and what's going on around the area and what we have at least going on here locally. So wind chill advisory, let's start with the cold. We have that going on now through Saturday afternoon. And that is for wind chills that can get down 10 to as much as 20 degrees below zero. This includes the northern tier, the valley cities, and now we have seen it taken away from Carbon and Monroe County, but it is still in Pike County. That is because we are starting to warm up, so things are starting to improve. The second part of what's really going on this weekend is this big storm that is back into the middle of the country. It is about to move into the Ohio Valley. This is bringing in some snow, some rain, a combination of the two, and is going to cause problems for the south through the Tennessee Valley and eventually for us. It's eventually going to take a U-turn and head up the eastern seaboard and eventually move through the Adirondacks here as we head into your Monday. So here's what we're seeing now from the People's Security Bank camera in downtown Scranton. Some sunshine. Doesn't really look all that bad. It's actually quite nice other than the cold. It actually looks pretty good when you look at the grand scheme of things. But temperature-wise, it's cold. We are starting to warm up. For a time, all of us were in the single digits and several places were below zero. We are now at 1 below zero in Mansfield, New Milford. We're hanging out, big goose egg there in Lenox and Gouldsboro. We've made it to 5 in Scranton. We did get down to 2 this morning. I believe that was our lowest that we had this morning. We're up to 11 in Jersey Shore and Williamsport, 12 in Selinsgrove, 10 for you into Bloomsburg and Tower City. Still in the single digits in Lehighton. You add the wind to that, and it does make it feel even colder. We're winds anywhere from 6 to as much as 13 miles per hour. They were in the 20s. So it has been very cold here across the area. Keep that in mind that you are going to be feeling even colder once you factor in that wind chill. Once you have winds up to 5 miles per hour or higher, that's when you start to have that wind chill factored in. So wind chills here out of the next 12 hours. Now this is the Scranton area. You are going to be below zero through at least the noon hour. Then we get back up above zero, but still in the single digits. 5 is about as good as we're going to get today. And the problem is it's not only breezy, but high temperatures today, only getting into the middle teens. It's not going to be a warm day at all. This is some of the coldest air we've seen so far this season, so that is going to make it feel even worse. You do start off with some sunshine. That's the good news, but clouds are expected to increase as we head toward the afternoon. It's not going to last, though. Those clouds will actually be decreasing then as we head through the late evening and into the overnight hours. And once those clouds move out, the warm air, or any of the warm air that we did have today, which is very minimal amounts, that warm air will just zip right out of the area and temperatures are plummeting. So we are going to be back below zero for tonight, and this is going to be at least at zero or below zero for most of northeastern and central Pennsylvania. Those typically warmer spots to the south and southwest, still only about a few degrees above zero. It is going to be another really cold night. Here's the good news. The winds aren't going to be as bad. It is going to be much more tolerable for you. These winds, let me check, going to be, I'd say starting off on the calm side, but getting up to the southeast to about 6 miles per hour. So that's going to be much more tolerable for you for tomorrow morning. It's not going to be feeling, I guess, as cold. All right, this is what everybody's really wondering about, this winter storm that we've been following here for the past several days. Now, we already have a winter storm watch that's been issued, and this is for Sunday afternoon through Monday afternoon due to that snow, the sleet. This is across the entire northern tier. It does include Wyoming County, Lackawanna County, Carbon-Monroe, and Pike County. It does not include Luzerne. Doesn't mean you're not going to see any wintry conditions. It's just not in the criteria for a winter storm watch. This also includes Sullivan County, Clinton, Lycoming, Union, and Snyder County. Everybody else is not in this, but like I had mentioned, it doesn't mean you're not going to have wintry conditions. You are just not in the criteria for a winter storm watch. So let's time it out here. We're starting off Sunday, 6 p.m., already starting to see some snow moving in from the south. This will continue to lift to the north as we go through the evening. So by 8 o'clock, everybody should see some snow at this point, or most everybody will have seen some snow at this point. So we are going to be seeing that period of snow likely for all of the areas. And the tricky part is when we start to have that mixed bag of sleet and freezing rain, and just how far inland that mix is going to be coming in. So this mix, and this is the latest data that we have coming in. The latest data is showing that the mix is going to be coming into our southern counties. That includes Northumberland, Montour, southern Columbia, Schuylkill County, even parts of Carbon County, getting that mixed bag of sleet and freezing rain. Now, this doesn't look like it had last weekend where we had just a wide swath of sleet and freezing rain. This is actually bringing in some rain as well. We're getting some of that warmer air aloft pushing in, and that's why we have that sleet and freezing rain and just plain rain coming in. Here's the other caveat. We do have a dry slot of air trying to work its way in. So if you are under that dry slot, which is what you're seeing there from Towanda to Dewshore, Wilkes-Barre, Hazleton, Bloomsburg, Sunbury, there's a lot of that dry air where just nothing's happening. Plus, to the east of 81, you have that pink, that sleet and freezing rain down around Jim Thorpe, Stroudsburg, a little bit of rain. So you are going to be picking up less in the way of snow totals because of that dry slot and that sleet and freezing rain. So that's going to hold those totals down. But you'll notice there's a line from Williamsport, points north toward the Pennsylvania-New York border, so essentially around Route 15, on west, it is just snow. So we are more likely west of Route 15 to stand the best chance of staying mostly, if not all, snow. So everywhere else where you do have a mix, it is going to hold those totals down. So I'll show you here that snow map in just a second, but where you are picking up on all snow, the snow totals are obviously going to be a little higher. Where you have that mixing, it is going to be less. Now, once we head into your Monday morning, there is going to be a transition from what it looks like to just plain snow showers, and those will continue to taper off as the day goes on. Now, I want to show you these temperatures overhead. Where you're seeing just plain blue is some of that colder air aloft, colder air higher up in the atmosphere. You will continue to see that colder air through about 7 p.m. That's as that snow is coming in. But then you see that yellow starting to work its way in by Monday morning. That's warmer air, and that's why we're starting to pick up on some of that sleet and freezing rain and just plain rain. And then it will transition back to just plain snow as that colder air works its way back in through late in the day on Monday and into early Tuesday. So just a different look at what we're seeing here. Your impact timing now between 7 p.m. and midnight, I have it as a medium threat, and that's just because we're going to see all snow and you're kind of getting thumped with snow. Now, just as a note, where you are going to be picking up just plain snow, it's kind of that drier, fluffier snow. It'll be a wetter snow where you pick up the sleet and freezing rain with it. So between midnight and 5 a.m. on Monday, a high threat, because that's when we'll start to see that sleet and freezing rain. It's enough of a glaze that can cause a bit of a concern on the roads. Because we're seeing the snow first and then you get that sleet and freezing rain on top of it, it's a little easier to handle. Where unlike last weekend, you had just that sleet and freezing rain on the ground, and trying to drive on that was just a treacherous nightmare. So this time you get the snow first and then the sleet and freezing rain on top of it. Then it's a medium threat between 5 a.m. and noon as we're starting to get that transition back to just plain snow. Between noon and 4, you're good to go. A lot of it is coming to an end at this point. So between Sunday night and Monday, your winter storm severity index, this is kind of like when we talk about severe weather over the summer. This is going to be a level 2 out of 5 for most areas from central Pennsylvania on east. So it's a lower level threat. If you do happen to have to travel and you're heading toward western Pennsylvania, it is going to be a greater threat. So higher impacts to the west, lower impacts to the east. Snow, this is the timing, will be arriving between 7 and 11 p.m. on Sunday. Steady snow for several hours, and then it will transition to that sleet and freezing rain, and even plain rain is possible. This is mainly the farther east you get. The farther west you get, it is more likely to stay as just plain snow. There will be lower totals to the east because of that sleet and freezing rain, higher totals to the north and west where you can pick up more than 4 inches possible. There will be a power outage as a possibility, isolated power outages with that sleet and freezing rain, primarily across, at least around the Poconos, through some of the valley cities, even down around Schuylkill County as well. So that's just another item of note that with that sleet and freezing rain, it is a possibility. All right, this is what everybody's looking for. The snowfall totals, 2 to 5 inches in general. Those snow totals can be held down because of that sleet and freezing rain chance, so keep that in mind. The farther north and west you get, the more likely you are to pick up some higher amounts of snow. Like I had mentioned, Route 15 before, that's a line from Williamsport points north to the New York border on west. That's where you can pick up some heavier bouts of snow. But if you remember that future clouds and radar, it did show a line of snow pushing up toward the Towanda area. That's kind of where we're looking at for the most snow. Towanda down through Trout Run to just north of State College on north and west. That's where most of the snow is going to be in terms of your higher amounts of snow. So we obviously want to see your pictures. We want to make sure that we know what's going on in your neighborhood. Just text us your pictures to 570-826-1616, and we'll try to get them on air for you, just so we can see again what's going on in your neighborhood. So again, this is what we're looking at: 2 to 5 inches of snow in general, 3 to 7 inches at some of those areas to our north and west. That includes Potter, Tioga County, even parts of Bradford County, as well as northern parts of Clinton and Lycoming County. Everywhere else you'll have that sleet and freezing rain working in, so that's going to be a little bit more of a concern. All right, so I want to come back out just to remind you to not only send your pictures to us, but you can always have the latest updates on air and online, WNEP. You can get it on our app as well. So be sure to download that if you have not downloaded it yet through the Apple Store or the Google Play Store, and that will bring you some updates. You can get the radar on there, as well as you can watch us live on there as well as you can online. And don't forget, Allie will be in here later tonight, and she will have the latest updates for you on this winter storm.